so today I'll be showing you how to cook big fish. So I've got here a frozen block of boal mass here. I've got the full block and I've just washed it with cold water, and I'm going to leave it in cold water until I get my prep done. So for a whole block amount, I'm going to be using medium-sized onions, 1.5, a full one and then a half one. The more onion you use, the more thick the gravy gets, and for a fish curry, what you don't want is a thick gravy. You'd like it a bit light and a bit watery. So one medium and then another half. So just slice it as thinly as possible. There. Then what I tend to do is chop it more small pieces like that. Just cooks more quicker, the thinner and smaller the onions are. So I'm just going to transfer them. And I'm just going to leave them aside now, and then I've got here about 5 cloves, which I'm just going to crush with a great crusher. There you go. Alright, once they have been crushed, I'm going to get a pan, put some oil in it and heat it. So I've got my pan there. I'm going to turn the flame on. And then I'm going to add some vegetable oil. I'm going to throw in a bay leaf. Alright, that's a large bay leaf I cut in half. My crushed up garlic. I always tend to add extra garlic because I just love garlic. Get more garlic there. And then I'm just going to let that brown up a bit. That's the basis of all the fish curry. Oil, bay leaves and garlic. So it doesn't matter what fish curry you cook, this is what the base is. So now I'm just going to add my onions. If you add a lot of onions, then the curry not only tastes not nice, but it doesn't look nice either. It looks too thick. So try and keep less onions in your curry. I'm gonna add some salt. About 1.5 tablespoons. Right. There's not much to do now. Just gonna cover it up and let it cook. Keep an eye on it. Add some water if you think it's gonna stick to the bottom or burn. And then once the onions have softened, then I'm gonna add my spices. So the onions are going slightly brown, so I'm just going to add some hot water to this. And cook it for maybe another 7 or 8 minutes until all the onions have gone like translucent. Right, whilst the onions are still cooking, I'm going to start preparing my vegetable. The vegetable I'm using today is one of these mishti kumra I've grown in my garden. So you can use any vegetable you want. There you go. So I'm just going to slice that, peel that and slice that for my curry. I'm going to peel them. Now I'm going to de-seed them. This bit you don't need. Like that. And then chop them into small pieces. So there's my vegetable. I'm gonna add some fresh chilies here, optional. So I'm just gonna slice them in half. And add them to my vegetable. Now I think my onions are done, so I'm gonna add my spices now. Let's see how they're doing. Right, my onions are cooked. Now I'm gonna add my spices. Right, I've got here turmeric powder, which is holy powder, and I only use Eastend brand, nothing else. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of turmeric powder, 1 tablespoon of coriander powder, and chilli powder. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons actually. So it depends how spicy you want it. I normally have my fish curry really spicy, but because I'm cooking this for my sisters, I'm just going to hold back on the spice. I'm also going to be adding some chopped tinned tomatoes. 1, 2, 3. This is a must in all my curries. Meat, chicken, fish, everything. Just give everything a mix. And that's nearly done. So I'm just going to cook that for about 7-8 minutes. I might have to add a bit of water to this afterwards. So just cover that up and cook that for about, let's say 5 minutes for now. Let's see, in 5 minutes, I'm just going to give it a mix. I'm going to add a bit of water now. So it doesn't burn, and so that the spices get really cooked together. Cover it up again. Right, change of plans, guys. I've decided to add some hot pepper to this curry, only because I've not had hot pepper for a long time. So I've chopped them into small pieces like that, and I'm going to add that with the spice now and mix that and cook that before adding my fish. You need to cook this for about 7-8 minutes so it gets soft and cooked. Now this is what hot pepper is, if you don't know. It's delicious. So I'm going to add a bit more water because I want the hot pepper to cook, and then I'm going to cook that for about 5 more minutes. Right, it's been 5 minutes. Now I'm going to add my vegetable with chilies. Give it a mix, and then you're going to let that cook before adding your water. So they don't take very long to cook. So give it like 10 minutes. Mix it now and then. If you need to, add a bit of hot water now and then, but keep an eye on it. Okay. Let's take a moment to say hi to our little baby here. Pixie, want to show your face? Sorry guys, this little one is desperate for attention this morning. I need to cook now, Pixie. Okay, got rid of her now. Let's check on our curry. Give it a mix. Now you can add any vegetable you want to this. It doesn't have to be this. But this is the stage where you add the vegetable after you cook your spice and everything for a bit, and before you fish. So it needs more cooking. I'm going to use a knife to see if it's cooked. I'm just going to poke it. So it's not fully cooked yet, so I'm just going to cook it for a bit longer. Let's check on our curry. That the vegetables have been cooked now. It goes right through. It took a bit longer than I expected. It took me 15 minutes to come to this stage now to have the vegetable cooked. All vegetables are different. They take different times to cook. Some takes 10 minutes. This one, however, took 15 minutes. So I made myself a coffee whilst waiting. So I'm going to give it a good mix first before adding my fish. Now my fish is washed. I can just bag it in the oven now. Some fish require you to fry them. Some people actually fry this onion with spices and everything, but I don't like to do that. Just wash it with salt a few times. Some don't even need a lot of washing. You wash it so the smell comes out. This fish I find that has less smell, that fishy smell. So I just wash it with cold water and salt. Gently mix it. With fish curry, after you put the spices in at this stage, you don't really mix it a lot because the fish are soft and they tend to break. So as less mixing as possible, please. Like that. I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to cook that on medium to low heat for about 5 minutes to start off with, and then I'm gonna maybe add a bit more water so that it doesn't stick to the bottom before adding more water. Now it's been 4 minutes. I'm just going to give you a slight mix there. I'm going to add a bit of water to this. I'm going to cook this for 5 minutes and then I'm going to add my water to the curry then. Right, now it's been 5 minutes. I'm going to add my water now and finish the cooking. So I've got here a glass of hot water. I'm just going to see if that's enough. You don't want to use too much water because then obviously your curry is going to go watery. But bear in mind, you're going to cook this for about another 5 minutes. And after turning it off, the water does absorb a bit, get absorbed. So just enough to cover the fish there. And that's it. And I'm just going to cook that on medium to high flame for about 5 minutes before turning it off. And that's it. So my curry has been bubbling away for about 13 minutes now. I'm just going to check upon it. The water has reduced a bit. So I'm just going to switch the flame off because it's done, and I'm just going to give it a little taste. So bear with me. Oh, that's nice. Can taste the khatkhora there. But sad times, guys, sad times. I have no coriander. Sad times. I really hate finishing a curry without coriander because I think it just adds a finishing touch to it. It has more flavor as well, more smell. The fragrance of the coriander is nice as well. I'm just going to pick the bay leaves out because you don't want them. So that's it. That's my curry done. But do add coriander if you have any. So enjoy, guys.